Hi everybody, this is Stephen Pugh of the City and Guilds course. We're going to be giving another video here to discuss the beginning of the first section of the City and Guilds course that deals with planning and organization. So the first thing is we have what's called drawn information in construction. So there are a number of documents and drawings, plans that need to be submitted, first of all to the local authority, and then later submitted to the builders to enable them to construct the building. Okay, and we have what I call a flow chart of contract documents. A flow chart of contract documents. It's not. People think that a building just starts with a handshake and an agreed price, and that of course is nothing near the truth. The building commences with what's called planning drawings. Now these would be to a small scale, so it will be a plan which will show the outside of the building, what it will look like, and maybe the front of the building and then the side of the building. There may also be a plan of the downstairs of the building and then another plan of the upstairs of the building. And this gives to the local authority a very good idea about what it is that is being proposed to be built. The second thing that needs to happen is that these plans then are inspected by the local authority to decide whether they're going to be granting planning consent, and also to the building control department to decide whether they're going to allow the building to be built from the point of view of safety and viability. Is it going to stand up? Is it going to work? Okay, so these are the two big things, and of course part of that then is making sure that the plans and the proposal agrees with the building regulations. You may not know this, but there are building regulations which specify exactly how buildings should be erected and what is considered to be safe and what is considered to be adequate. So the plans then, the initial project drawing, needs to be able to satisfy these criteria. It needs to be able to look fairly decent from the outside, and it needs to be functional on the inside, and it needs to abide by the building regulations. Now, once the approval has been granted, the next thing that the architect and his team will need to do is to produce what's called schedules. Now, schedules are just lists. I'll give you an example of the sort of lists. There'll be a list of all the doors in the building, and normally on the plan it'll say D1, D2, D3, D4, and this means door 1, door 2, door 3, door 4, and so on. There might be 15 or 16 or even up to 20 doors in a building. I've been in buildings where there have been hundreds of doors. Okay, and everyone is numbered, and on the schedule it'll say, it's basically a matrix list, it'll say D1, and then it'll give us the door size. It may say 838 by 1981. That's the size in millimeters. And then it'll say the width, the height, and the type of lintel that is required above the door. Okay, it will also say fire rating, and it'll say fire rating to 30 minutes or whatever it might be, and it'll be yes, yes, or no, yes, no. The outside shed doesn't need to have a fire rating, okay, but there'll be certain doors on the inside that do have to have a fire rating, and the fire rating may change from door to door. Also on the schedule it may say self-closing. Does this door have to close itself? Okay, and if so, then it may be a yes or a no. As you go down the list, it may say yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no, no, yes, yes, and so on, as to whether it has to be a door that self-closes. And then lastly, this is just an example, it'll say at the end, door number 1 is on the ground floor. Okay, and it's a right hand hinge. Okay, so all these details are there. Now, with these details, it's then possible to work out what's called the specification. So on the specification, every single door, every single handle, every single hinge, every single item in the building from top to bottom will be specified as to what it should be, in terms of, say, quality or in color or in size, and it will specify everything. The whole building will be listed. And from this, then, we then move on to the next thing, which is called the Bill of Quantities. So we've got a number of things. First of all, we've got the project drawing, which enables the local authority and building control to be able to understand exactly how the building is being proposed. Then there will then be the schedules, the list of all the items. This is generally after approval's been granted. So first of all, you have the schedules, which are a list of items. Then we have a specification telling us the quality of those items. And then lastly, we have the bill of quantities. Now, the bill of quantities tells us about the cost of all those items. Now, you can understand, can't you, that it's impossible to come up with an overall price of the whole build until you've counted every item. And it's not enough to just say, well, it's a door. You have to say, yes, but what sort of door? What type of door? What size of door? What size of handle? What type of handle? What color handle? And once all these things are specified on the schedule, and then on the specification, and then on the bill of quantities, only then will a price be able to be agreed. Okay, and the very last document in these series of 5 documents is called the building contract. And on the building contract, it gives details of the start of the job and the end of the job. It gives the conditions of the work, and it also states the methods in which the payment will be made. Okay, so basically you've got 5 documents then. You've got the project drawings, you've then got the schedules, you've got the specification, and you've got the bill of quantities, and lastly, you've got the building contract. Okay, now let's look at some of these types of drawings a little bit more carefully. In the initial project drawing, one of the drawings that may need to be included, sometimes it's put in a little picture at the side of a drawing, is what's called the location plan. Now, the location plan shows what the relationship of the building is in relation to all the other buildings nearby. It may show the streets leading off and all the other buildings there, and then there'll be what's called a block plan. It'll be a block coloured in where the actual project is going to be, and sometimes it'll have a north or south indicator telling us which way around we should be able to see that. We can see then which side the sun is going to shine, which side is going to be facing the warm. That's the location plan. And sometimes that location plan is included in the site plan. And the site plan is a plan which describes the whole of the building site. It shows all the boundary of the land upon which that building will be placed. It'll show us the streets that are adjacent, streets that are next to it. It'll show us whether there's any trees already there. It'll show us if there's a stream running through. It'll show us the overall site. It's called the site plan. Okay. Now then we have a number of other plans called general arrangement drawings. The first of these is called the elevations. Now, we already said that on the initial project drawing there would be elevations. So there would be a drawing showing what the front of the building looks like. If you stood in the street, what would it look like? Would it look ugly or would it look quite nice? That's the big issue. But there would be an elevation of the front. There'd normally be an elevation of the side. Sometimes there's an elevation of another side, and sometimes there's an elevation of the back. So you can see what the building is going to be like on all 4 sides. Okay. It's all to do with the appearance of the face of the building. Now, the next plan in general arrangement drawings is a floor plan. And this shows us what the building would look like if we took a slice through the middle of the ground floor and took all the top off, and we looked down from above, and we can see the outline of all the walls. We can see half of the stairway going up, and we can see where the kitchen is. We can see where the WC is. We can see the overall outline. It's called a floor plan, and it would be the floor plan of the ground floor. But then there would need to be another one. If you imagine the building again, and you take a slice through the second floor, and you take the roof off, and when you look down from above, you can see the outline of the bathroom and the bedrooms and so on. These are called floor plans. Now, sometimes in a building, we need to have what's called a sectional plan. Now, a sectional plan, if you imagine the building again, and you take a big knife and you cut it straight down the middle, and you take that one wall away, and then you stand in the street looking at the building. That means you can see all the joists being cut in half. You see all the walls cut in half. You see all the downstairs walls cut in half. You see the roof cut in half. This enables you to have a very detailed drawing of what the building looks like in all of its component parts being made up. These are called sections. And usually in a building, there's about 3 or 4 sections given. Okay. And then there need to then be additional drawings which are required to construct the building. And there's a few of them, at least three types. The first one is called assembly drawings. Okay. Now, an assembly drawing is a drawing that shows how various components in the building are fitted together. So it might be a drawing of where the joist fits against the wall, and it also shows the floor level and what goes underneath, and whether there's coving and what's in the wall. It'll show you what's inside the wall. And so this is a detailed drawing that will enable the builder to be able to understand how parts fit together. That's what that's for. It's called an assembly drawing. How do you assemble this thing? And then the second one then is called a component or range drawings. And this would be a drawing of all, say, the windows. You've got all the windows drawn out as if they've been taken out of the building and put on a flat sheet of paper, and all of the windows are drawn. And they're named. This is the bathroom window. This is the bedroom number 1 window. This is bedroom number 2 window. This is the window that's above the staircase, and so on. You have all the windows, for example. But the same might be true with all of the doors, and the same might be true of all of the kitchen cabinets. So this is what's called a component or range drawing, and this shows the complete range of a particular item in the building. And then the third type is called detail drawings. Okay. Now, in a building, sometimes there's very special and specific details that either the client or the builder or the architect wants to have in the building. So it might be a special way that the stair finishes at the bottom of the stairs. It might be a special type of device in the window, how that actually works. So these are detailed drawings of usually quite small things. So often the drawings are in like a 1:2 or a 1:5 ratio. So they're actually quite large drawings, but they're very important. So then, we see then that amongst all the drawings, there are at least 4 main different types. You've got all the planning drawings. Remember, in the planning drawings, we had the location plan, the site plan. Now, those drawings are often in 1 to 250, 2,500 or 1 to 1,250 scale. So it shows in a very large picture a very small building. That's the point. Now, then, of course, there's the general arrangement buildings, and there was a number of types. You've got elevations. That's what it looks like from the front or the side. You've got floor plans. That's what it looks like if you take the roof off and look down from above. And you have sections, and that's what it looks like when you cut a building in half and you look at the building as it's opened up in a section. And then we have construction drawings. Now, the construction drawings were assembly drawings, how things are fitted together, and component or range drawings. And then, of course, we have the last type of drawing, which is called detail drawings. This shows the minute detail of how certain things are fitted together in the building. Well, there we are. We look forward to catching up with you on our next episode. Have a great day, all of you. Bye for now.